Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayan. Nashtrapayesha bhadrayesha nityam bhavata sevaya. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati nashaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyadi Pashadadi Shatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premapadaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gautuse Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We can close my door and all the doors inside. It's going to start drilling in a few minutes. Hare Krishna, we welcome everyone for today's Bhagavat Life program, wherein we are reading from 4th canto and 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, titled as King Prithu's Appearance and Coronation. So we saw, alright, started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is their starting time. Alright, so we saw that it's interesting, when these sages, we just to briefly recap from the point of view of sages and leadership. Sages also refers to leaders. They decided and they chose Vena as a king because they wanted to find a solution to the problem at hand. And they thought maybe if he gets into this position of a king, maybe he'll get a good sense and at least rogues and thieves will go away. It definitely happened, but the rogues and thieves ran away not because of the dharmic rulership of King Vena, but primarily because of adharmic rulership of King Vena. Because now there was a bigger thief sitting on the throne. So out of competition, fear of competition, they ran away, not of fear of dharma. The sages realized they made a mistake by finding him. Now they have to fix it. So they took a responsibility and they said, kill him, curse him. And they cursed him to die. And when they cursed him to die and he died, after that there is no more king. And again, the whole society went into chaos. And one of the verse it was mentioned that the sages were sitting in the hermitage doing their yajna and austerities, and they saw all around the dust storm. Why there was a dust storm? Because thieves and rogues, after looting the people, plundering the people, they were running away. So because they were running away, which means probably on horses and whatnot, because that there was so much dust storm, which means you can call it maybe a metaphorical representation. Idea is there was so much chaos in the society. There was so much chaos. There was so much hue and cry about it. So then sages thought, okay, we got to do something about it. What can we do? And then comes a very important principle, is the purity of seminal line in that way. So realizing that Anga was a great king coming in the dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj, however, Anga got married to the daughter of death, Sumitra, because that the son was adharmic like that. However, the seminal line is pure, at least from the Anga side. So they decided, let's create another progeny from the body of Vena. And they did some medical treatment, which I believe medical science doesn't know today, right? By churning the dead body, They could not brought Anga back to life, Avena back to life, but from the dead body of the Avena, they created another life. So from that first came a Nishada, who they called as a Nishas. So that's pretty interesting. So when they first churned, what came out? Is sin personified. I was just thinking when I just sat, I was listening to Kirtan, beautiful Kirtan our devotees are doing. So I was just thinking about it. Isn't it interesting? Generally, when we begin the churning of anything in this creation, everything first what comes out is the sin or obnoxious things. This is what happens. And it's just so obvious because this whole creation is surrounded by that obnoxious thing. So what do you get? What is there on the surface is the obnoxious thing. Similarly, we see that in Samudra Manthan, churning, what came out? Again, the wish, the poison. So it's not a surprise when we are churning our heart, what comes out in the beginning is some obnoxious things. And therefore, Ussaha Nishadharya becomes very powerful. Have patience, continue on. Don't pay attention to what's coming out, let it go. Pay attention to the instruction of Guru and Garanga. And that's where the role of Guru becomes extremely important. Now, Guru may not be there in person, but Guru's Vani is more potent in that way. If, as a student and disciple, if you could develop that attachment and attraction to hearing from Guru, and that Guru can be Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, whoever, if we can align ourselves with the process of hearing and give up our adamancy to the process of speaking, which Kanishtas are too used to, if we can just give up this whole bad habit of speaking and develop this habit of hearing and try to tune ourselves to that frequency, then we can deal with this obnoxious thing that will come out from our heart when we are churning the heart through the process of Bhakti Yoga. If not, then it's very difficult. So, alignment with the Vani is the most important thing, because Vani is something eternal, and that stays. So we all have to ask a question: with whose Vani am I aligning? I've been around for ABCD months or years, whatnot. With whose Vani do I align? By hearing whom or by following him, I happily accept it and do it, then we're in a good situation. However, if you find yourself, you're not able to align with any Vani except for one Vani, that is my own, which is produced from my own mind. All the best. Your life is in chaos, and you're going to create more further chaos for everyone around. If you don't, take these things a little seriously. Most importantly, for those who are into any kind of management and leadership role. So, anyways, that was a little quick reflection on it. So now, the sages will continue to chant the body. Nishad, the sin personified, have already appeared. Let's see what appears now. So in this chapter, we'll read about appearance of Prithu Maharaj. The son and daughter, I believe, would be appearing both. So Prithu Maharaj and his consort. And Prithu Maharaj is the Shaktivish avatar of the Lord. The Lord appears that way in the dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj. After that, when Prithu Maharaj appears, his coronation happens, and then the poets, philosophers begin to glorify Prithu Maharaj, which is, as I said, in the past, if you get a leadership position, the privileges that you get today and in the past were very different. Today you may get a one room to sleep. Today you may get one assistant to assist you, maybe one car. But then you used to have a whole assembly of people glorifying you morning, evening. They'll wake you up with your glories. They'll put you to rest with your glories. So, कहाँ की कहाँ privilege आ गई है, और आज इस privilege के भी लोग संघर्ष मारते हैं. So that's our standard in Kali Yuga. So now our, what's his name? Prithu Maharaj gonna be glorified, and here comes a very beautiful lesson which we'll try to cover today if time permits. How praises are not always praises. How, in fact, praises at times also serve as insults. First. And second thing, how to be genuine. So again, some leadership qualities we'll discuss. These are something which we should make nice notes of in terms of leadership. This whole section will be about leadership. Let's begin with Maitrivacha Atatasya Punurvipre aputrasya mahipatehe bahubhyam matyamanabhyam mitunam sampatyata. The great sage continued, My dear Vidura, thus the Brahmanas and the great sages again shone the two arms of King Vena's dead body. As a result, a male and female couple came out of his arms. Translation next verse. The great sages were highly learned in Vedic knowledge. When they saw the male and female born of the arms of Vena's body, they were very pleased, for they could understand that the couple was an expansion of the plenary portion of Vishnu. So, Shaktavi Shaktar, or plenary expansion, appeared. Text number 3. The Rishi begins to speak. Rishaya Uchuhu Isha Vishnur Bhagavataha Kaha Bhuvana Palini Iyam Cha Lakshmaya Sambhutihi Purushasya Payani. The sages said, the male is a planetary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu who maintains the entire universe, and the female is a planetary expansion of the goddess of fortune. So the Lord have appeared now from the body of Venateshwar. Of the two, male will be able to expand his reputation throughout the world. His name will be Prathu. Indeed, he will be the first amongst kings. So, Papa, that's in the puppet. We have the mic allowed? So we can have, yeah, mic is there. Somebody can read the puppet. Text 4. Please read out the puppet loudly.
There are different types of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shastras, it is said that Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva and Ananta are all very powerful incarnations of the Brahman feature of the Lord. Similarly, Sachipati or Indra, the king of heaven, is an incarnation of the lusty feature of the Lord. Aniruddha is an incarnation of the Lord's mind. Similarly, King Prithu is an incarnation of the ruling force of the Lord. Thus, the saintly persons and great sages predicted the future activities of King Prithu, who was already explained as a partial incarnation of a plenary expansion of the Lord.
Yeah, so according to time, date, time, and place of birth, the learned pundits who knew about the science of astrology could foretell what all going to happen with the child. So here the sages are saying that. Text number 5. The female has such beautiful teeth and beautiful qualities that she will actually beautify the ornaments she wears. Her name will be Archi. In the future, she will accept King Prathu as her husband. Very pretty interesting thing, huh? The ornaments beautify person who's wearing ornaments. Mother Archi's beauty would beautify the ornaments. I'm nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Isa Sakshadhare Ramsho Jato Lokar Rakshaya Yam Chatatparahi Shri Anujakne Anapayini. At the farm of King Prithu, the Supreme Personality Godhead has appeared through a part of his potency to protect the people of the world. The goddess of fortune is a constant companion of the Lord, and therefore she is incarnated partially as Archi to be King Prithu's queen. So Prithu and Archi have appeared. Text number 7, Matrimony speaks. Prabhupada writes in the purport, they are both the Shakti-Avish avatar, which I already explained. Matrimony, text number 7. The great sage Maitreya said, My dear Vidurji, at that time all the Brahmanas highly praised and glorified King Prithu, and the best singers of Gandharva chanted his glories. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka showered flowers, and the beautiful women in the heavenly planets danced in ecstasies. We have actually space in front of the cameras. Some of you want can move in front of the camera. Not come. Like that. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, so now the glorification begins. Text number 8. Conch shells, bugles, drums, cattle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, and personalities from the heavenly planets all came to earth from various planetary systems. अभी गुणगान हो. So, let's experience the glorification in the pages of Bhagavatam of another personality, how glorification would happen in those ages. Lord Brahma, the master of the entire universe, arrived there accompanied by all the devtas and their chiefs. Seeing the lines of Lord Vishnu's palm on King Prithu's right hand and impressions of lotus flowers on the soles of his feet, Lord Brahma could understand King Prithu was a partial representation of the Supreme Lord, one whose palm bears a sign of a disc, as well as other such lines should be considered a partial representation or incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada in the purport. So nobody can declare himself to be a Lord. There has to be some symptoms. And symptoms here, what Brahma observed, that his soles of his feet and the palms had certain indication, he being the Supreme Personality of God. Text number 11. The learned Brahmanas who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony, thus everything was complete. So do you notice there is no mention of childhood? So King Prithu appeared as a full package, full grown package to become, because what was the need of it? They needed a king. Imagine if Prithu would have appeared as a toddler. अगले 12 साल तक कौन राज्य करता? So what they needed was a king. What appeared from the body was a king, the coronation. This is what it seems like. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, 70 planets, earthly planets, all of the living entities collected various presentations according to their ability to offer the king. Kya baat hai? I mean, the nature is reciprocating. Amazing. Thus the great King Prithu, beautifully dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated, placed on the throne. The king and his wife, Archie, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. The great sage continued, My dear Vidura, Kuvera presented the great King Prithu with a golden throne. The Varuna presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. It's just like having an air conditioner on your head. And with an additional feature, sprinkling water to keep you always cool-headed. Nice gifts, huh? The Vayu presented King Prithu with 2 wisps, chamras of hair. The king of religion Dharma presented him with a flower garland which would expand his fame. King of Heaven Indra presented him with a valuable helmet. And the superintendent of death Yamaraj presented him with a scepter with which to rule the world. The stick, like that. Text number 16. Lord Brahma presented King Prithu with a protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Mother Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, gave him a transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshan disc. And Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences. This is the coronation ceremony. Text number 17. Lord Shiva presented him with a sword within a sheath marked with 10 moons, and his wife Durga presented him with a shield marked with 100 moons. So he got a sheath and he got the sword along with the sheath. The moon demigod presented him with horses made of nectar, which means the horse would never become tired. No petrol needed. And the demigod, better than EV. No pollution. And the demigods Vishwakarma presented with a very beautiful chariot. Text number 18. The fire, Agni, presented with a bow made of the horns of goats and cows. Sun god presented with arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominant deity of Bhuraloka presented with slippers full of mystic power. शायद उड़ने वाले slippers होंगे. पहनो और उड़ जाओ. Something. What has to slipper full of mystic power? The demigods from outer space brought in presentations of flowers again and again. Prabhupada writes, what does it mean by mystic slippers? Which means as soon as a king placed his feet in the slippers, they would immediately carry him wherever he desired. That was his private jet, huh? Put your feet, and the most compact jet. Put your feet in the slippers, and wherever you wanted, he can go. Like that. Anyways, text number 19. I mean, we should get attracted to these gifts. Somehow then our attraction to things of this world will go away. कुछ चाहना ही है, कुछ पाना है तो ये पाओ ना यार, एटलीस्ट थोड़ा तो लेवल बढ़ाओ करके. We should, not on the extreme end, but somewhere we should have the sense of abhorrence towards the things of this world and to what the Kali Yuga has to offer. Then maybe it's possible for us to have some detachment. you know. Text number 19. Devtas who always travel in outer space gave King Prithu the arts to perform dramas, sing songs, play musical instruments, and disappear at his will. The great sages also offered him infallible blessings. The ocean offered him a conch shell produced from the ocean. The seas, the mountains, rivers gave him room to drive the chariot without impediments. And a Suta, a Magadha, and Vandi offered prayers and praises. They all presented themselves before him to perform their respective duties. Thus, when the greatly powerful King Prithu, the son of Vena, saw the professionals before him to congratulate them, he smiled, and with the gravity of the vibrating sounds of clouds, he spoke as follows. So far was just a discussion of Prithu appearing, Prithu becoming the king, and his coronation. Now comes some very beautiful section about some again important principles pertaining to our leadership now. So, Paturvacha
Vacha
Bhusuta Hemagada Saumya Vandil
Bhusuta Hemagada Saumya Vandil
Loke Adhuna Spashta Gunasya Mesya
Loke Gunaspasti Gunasya
Kim Ashrayo Me Stava Esha Yojyata
Himashrayo Me Stavahe Yochita
Mamae Abhuvan Vitatha Girovaha. So Prithu Maharaj says, we'll read what he says. You can reflect in one word. What would you like to define about Prithu Maharaj? O gentle Suta, Magadha, other devotee offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better that may be offered to someone else. Prabhupada writes in the pamphlet, the prayers and praises offered all explain the good qualities of Maharaj Prithu. Because the qualities were not yet manifest, King Prithu very humbly asked why the devotee should praise him with such exalted words. He did not want anyone to offer him prayers or glorify him unless he possessed the real qualities of which they spoke. The offering of prayers was certainly appropriate, for he was an incarnation, but he warned them that one should not be accepted, okay, without having gotten that. So, just from the basic point of view, what do you understand about Prithu Maharaj? One word. How would you define? Humble. What else? Self-realized. Shakti-avesh avatar. Truthful. You know, each of these words can have different meanings in different contexts. How truthful?
He was not ready to accept the glorification because he was saying that he has not manifested that qualities.
So how does it mean to be truthful? So how does it mean to be truthful?
He just appeared and then he had not yet done
Exhibited.
anything to qualify.
Okay, what does it mean to be truthful then?
Do not accept anything that you don't possess.
Okay, what does it mean to be truthful then? Correct? You can only be truthful when you know yourself. You can only be truthful when you know yourself. The problem that we are born into an environment and a culture, we have no understanding of who I am. I'm not talking about the body but spiritual. That's an altogether different matter. Even we don't know what I want, what are my strengths and what are my weakness. We're living in such a copycat culture. We see somebody else successful and we begin to imitate him thinking that I am also like that. Yes or no? People very easily get attracted by somebody sings nicely, somebody speaks eloquently, somebody dresses very nicely, somebody looks smart. Simple example. How many of you remember, in your college days, school days, going to watch a movie? And let's say for the boys, they see the hero dressed up in a particular way, cut sleeve, showing his biceps, and you come out and you'll see everyone buying those kind of dresses. Why? Now that fellow may have biceps. You may not even have a muscle, but he still want to wear a cut sleeve. What does it indicate? We are so delusioned. We're so delusioned. Before we can be truthful, we need to be truthful to ourselves. We just all need to know who am I, what are my capacities. So what Prathamaj is humility, I totally agree. Whatever you said is totally correct. But I just want to go a step further. Look at Prathamaj. Wait a second. I have not manifested what you're talking about. I don't have it right now. Who can say that? Only that person who knows what he has or not, who knows what qualities I have or not. Those who are born and brought up in this whole copycat culture, despite making mistakes, they may not even think about they made a mistake. So the whole life is a lie. We're living on the platform cheating. So first thing, very important quality for in a leadership role is to be truthful. If you're not truthful for yourself, how would you be truthful to your people? And if you're not truthful, how do you expect people around you to be truthful? Text number 23. Somehow we need to introspect on this, what we just discussed. Do we really know who we are? Do we really know what are our strengths and weaknesses? Most important, do we have any understanding of our weaknesses? Have you ever paid attention to all the feedbacks that we have received? What are they trying to indicate about me? Are we just ignoring? So who are we cheating? Who are we cheating here? Text number 23. Pratama says, O gentle reciters, offer such prayers in due course of time, when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them. Prabhupada, it's beautiful, Prabhupada. First few lines. Somebody would like to read? Yeah, everything. Take the mic. First 4-5 lines of the Prabhupada.
Gentle devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead know perfectly well who is God and who is not. Non-devotee, impersonalist, however, who have no idea that God is
No idea
what God is and who never offers prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always interested in accepting a human being as God and offering such prayers to him. This is the difference between a devotee and a demon.
Last few lines of the Prabhupada. If a man who does not actually possesses,
If a man who does not factually possesses the attributes of great personality engages his followers in praising him with the expectation that such attributes will develop in the future, that sort of praise is actually an insult.
so when does a praise becomes an insult? When you're being praised for what you don't have. So that is first thing. And then it becomes a mockery when that fellow who doesn't have it accepts the praise. So for one who is truthful, for him such a praise would be like an insult. Imagine somebody has a voice like croaking of toad or a frog. And you tell him, Prabhuji, आप कितना अच्छा कीर्तन करते हो. आप कीर्तन करते हो तो कंपन होने की फीलिंग आती है. सब जगह लाइटनिंग इफेक्ट, शीशे हिलने लगते हैं, सब मेल्ट होने लगता है आपके वॉइस के कंपन से. समथिंग लाइक दैट इन हिंदी में से. अब उसको बताओ बुरा लगे नहीं लगेगा. जिसको पता है, who knows, who is truthful, one who knows that my voice is like of croaking of a toad or a frog, he will feel embarrassed and insulted, yes or no? But one who is not truthful, प्रभु मैं इतना भी अच्छा नहीं गाता, ठीक है, थोड़ा थोड़ा. This is what we'll call as a humble response. And that other response would be, he'll just hear it. So we can just see, you understand why I have said what truthful means? Knowing ourselves. who we are and what we have. I just come, one or two verses will come to it. Let Prathu Maharaj complete his words. So that's how the praise becomes an so text number 24. How could an intelligent man, competent enough to possess such exalted qualities, allow his followers to praise him if he did not actually have them? Praising a man by saying that if he were educated, he might have become a great scholar, great person, that is nothing but a process of cheating. A foolish person who agrees to accept such praise does not know that such words simply insult him. That's the point Prabhupada is making. That's the thing. Prabhupada writes the last 3 lines, please read out the puppet.
So-called incarnations of Godhead should therefore take lessons from the behavior of King Prithu. Demons without godly qualities should not accept false praise from their followers.
So Prabhupada here is bringing more in context of all these man-made gods who receive praises from their followers. Prabhupada is doing that parallel conversation here. These people should not, who don't have the qualities. Text number 25. Prabhavo hi atmana stotram jugupsanti api vishruta hrimantaha paramodaraha
Hrimanta paramodara
paurusham va vigarhitam.
Paurasham va vigarhitam.
As a person with a sense of honor and magnanimity does not like to hear about his abominable actions, a person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. Very interesting. A person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. No puppet, no comment here. Text number 26. King Prathu continued. Vayam tva avidita loke
Mayam tva vidana loke
sutadyapi variyam bihi
Sutadyapi variyam
karma bhi katham atmaham
Karmavi katham atmana
gapayishyam apalavat.
Gapayisham balava.
King Prathu continued. My dear devotee is headed by the Suta. Just now I am not very famous for my personal activities because I have not done anything praiseworthy you could glorify. Therefore, how can I engage you in praising my activities exactly like children? So, King Prathu, or Prathu Maharaj, interjects and he says, thank you for all the gifts. Gifts are okay, but praises are not okay. You're glorifying me for things that I have not yet exhibited. I know I'm competent, but there is a time for me to manifest. When I manifest, then you may do it. But for that, he already said in the previous verse, even I manifest, the great and famous people do not like to hear their own praises. So indirectly he said there's no need for it. That is the right attitude for a leader. But the right attitude for the subordinate is he had to glorify. Why? Because that offers them an opportunity to express their gratitude. Therefore, when we don't talk about offering praises. We talk about offering gratitude. There's a difference between offering praise and gratitude. Praises at times, the chances we could exaggerate. And gratitude, the idea of offering gratitude is recall an incident, some particular thing that touched your heart. Such and such situation, this way, that way. I'm so grateful you helped. That becomes genuine appreciation. And that appreciation will deepen the relationship. But some just empty words of glorification that causes inconvenience in the relationship. The one who is listening would not be comfortable, and maybe the one who is speaking with whatever objective may not be attained also. If in particular he is speaking towards a learned person. To a fool, that's easy. He'll be happy. At least somebody realized who he is not. Somebody realized he is not, but he is not a fool. Somebody realized he is intelligent. So like that's the point is being mentioned here. And that concludes our little small chapter. So today I'll open the forum for question and answers because in the last few sessions we didn't have it. So we've been discussing quite a lot. King Gwena, the lessons from King Gwena. And today, to begin with, I made a point. What was that thing I was saying? Context of Guru. The very first point. Yeah, I was speaking about that. Visha comes because the Vena's body was churned, Nishad came out, and this is the kind of a thing in this creation. When the Samudra Manthan happened, Vish came out. Again, the Manthan happened here, Nishad came out. So when we take to the process of purification, what comes out in the beginning is Vish, obnoxious things. All our hidden thoughts and feelings begins to manifest. And what we need to do, Usaha Nishadharya. At that point of difficulty, what is our saving grace at that point of time and all the time is if we have developed attraction, attachment to the process of hearing. And we can only do that when we begin to listen and speak less. Some of us are too conditioned to speak, overspeak, because of which they can never develop the habit of hearing. And when we don't have the habit of hearing, then how would we develop hearing from, that sense of hearing from somebody whose hearing inspires us, directs us for the right direction. So, what has been observed in general around is very few take to process of Bhakti Yoga among masses. Those among very few who take to the process of Bhakti Yoga, in that also, only very few are able to really work on their conditionings. Otherwise, years pass, decades pass. Changing external is easy for very few of them who have come to ISKCON, who have come to Krishna consciousness. Among those who have come to Krishna consciousness, how many are really able to work on their conditionings? And we all have come with our own baggage of conditioning. Changing the externals are easy, but changing the way of our thinking, the changing the way how we function, and adapting ourselves, evolving ourselves, that very few are able to do it. So majority of our crowd gets settled with chanting 16 nouns, trying to chant 16 nouns, and trying to follow 4 regulative principles. And that for us at this point in time also seems like a success, which is no doubt, which is wonderful in this difficult day and time. But greater than that is who takes the opportunity and advantage to really work on oneself and stop worrying about what's happening with everyone else around and with everything else. We all have an assignment, we all have a homework, we all have a challenge to deal with. And the challenge is I. There is no greater battle to fight, there is no greater challenge to face than to face myself, my conditionings, to change, evolve, and move forward. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Jaiva Dharma, is a very fantastic book, but a little technical book. In Jaiva Dharma, he makes a very clear point. To move forward in the path of bhakti, he compares it with climbing a staircase. So when you have to move forward, you have to lift your feet. And that steps he compares with different rules and regulations at different stages. He said when you have to move forward, so when you are at a particular stage, there are certain things recommended here. But when you move forward, you have at times to let go of this to be able to accept another set of things. But if you are so conditioned, we all are conditioned, and if you are stuck into that, you just cannot move forward. We get stuck into that because we are so much conditioned by certain way of thinking and acting and whatnot. We're just not willing to let go of our conditionings, and therefore it's just like what you call as ferry-goal ka jor. Then one step in our bhakti journey, we get stuck, and we somehow just don't change it. So the maximum progress happens in initial years, in terms of changes of your perception, consciousness. Somehow lack of proper guidance, or maybe somehow lack of humility, or maybe lack of truthfulness. I don't know what. Then after some years, the person stops evolving because now he thinks, what I think, what I know is all correct, or maybe this is how the life has to be. They are not moving forward. So he says, if you have to move forward, you need to lift your feet, which means you have to let go of the things of that time, of that situation. Unless we are willing to learn, unless we are willing to hear, unless we are willing to accept the things that have been coming now our way, looking at how Krishna wants us to move forward, what Krishna wants us to do in the situation, we cannot put a foot forward. and to put foot forward, it's a matter of huge faith. Faith on Guru and Garanga. Faith on their words, what they want me to do. I already clarified the other day, please do not try to understand everything from your logical brain. Not only Krishna's pastime, even the instructions of Guru. Don't do that mistake. When we try to understand everything from the logical and rational brain, we have put that person at our level. We have put that person at our level, saying that unless our frequency matches, I will not understand. So, which means, for example, if you go to college or you go to school, you join a trigonometric class. Does that everything makes logical sense to you? Would the probability make everything logical sense to you? Whatever teachers are teaching you, many times you have to memorize certain formulas, certain things. Does it make sense to you? It will not make sense to you. Maybe after you have done your PhD in mathematics, when you go into the details of probability and things like that, maybe then it will begin to make sense. So when you are in 11th standard, it makes sense to you. So when you say, unless it makes logical, rational sense to me, otherwise I will not accept it. What you're trying to do is, you're trying either artificially you're trying to uplift yourself to that level, or you're trying to pull that ceiling to your level, or you have already pulled the ceiling down to your level, thinking that whatever he says should meet my frequency. It doesn't work like that. So this is something which we should be open. Sometimes what is told, what has to be done, don't bring your logical and rational thinking. I'm not again promoting blind following, but after certain strength of relationship, after we have built our relationship for years together, on the strength of the relationship, it's better we follow certain things. In the beginning, till the time you have trust, faith and all that, do that. But one point at a time you have to say, surrender, surrender. Yesterday we also spoke about what surrender is. This is what surrender is. Let go of your idea. जब तक मुझे समझ नहीं आएगा, जब तक मुझे रेशनल नहीं लगेगा, जब तक मुझे लॉजिकल नहीं लगेगा, मैं नहीं करूँगा. It doesn't work like that. So anyways, there were some quick random thoughts on it, so I'll pause here. Any questions or comments? We'll open the forum. We have the time for it now. Yes, mother. Mike, please. And tomorrow is what, Friday? Or today is Friday? Oh, today is already Friday. Oh. Okay, so chapter 16. July, right?
Yes.
So I may have one more week in this month. So we'll at least finish the part 1 of 4th canto. Yes, mother, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You were just now speaking about being truthful. So my question is that how should we draw a line between being truthful and being proud? Because coming back to the same example that you gave, that singing ka example. So you were giving an example that somebody was not singing very good. But on the other hand, if we say that somebody was singing absolutely wonderful, and it was really heart touching, and somebody goes and appreciates that person. So when that person is appreciated, maybe being truthful, maybe, okay, really I was singing good, but then that can lead to pride as well, that I was singing good. So how can you define that thin line between being truthful and being proud?
So this is a very particular case that you're making. So those who are intelligent, as Prathama said, they will not take the praises seriously. Those who are foolish people, only they will become proud. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, what does it mean? Knowledge produces humility. Knowledge will not produce arrogance. So somebody by becoming knowledgeable, learned, becoming arrogant, it means he has just got knowledge but not wisdom. He is still foolish. So real knowledge is which cultivates humility. So similarly, somebody becoming a proud, he is ignorant. That's the reason he is proud. He may have knowledge, but he doesn't have wisdom. One who knows things, they will not become proud. And that was discussed before already. How can you be proud? And I have clarified that also. For a devotee, how can you be glorified? How can you be proud? How can you feel proud? When you have something to compare with as the Supreme Personality Godhead. We are insignificant in front of Him. At our current situation, we may feel proud and all that is okay. But at least through this discussion, we should also understand if I'm feeling proud, okay, that feeling of proud should humble us, that I'm fool. At least that much is wonderful. Because of my current level of purification, current level of my spiritual growth, somebody praises me, I become proud. Then it should humble us that I'm such a fool still. Then you're a good consciousness. At least you're progressing, you're recognizing your weakness. But just being proud and being proud, not recognizing there is a problem in being proud, that's the problem in itself. Hare Krishna. Mother Chintamani, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, good.
Pranam Prabhuji. I wanted to know this one, Vena's mother was the daughter of death personified.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the lineage became bad because of that. Now, what is this? Who is this death personified? Because whenever we think of death, we always think of Yamaraj. But he is Dharmaraj. So he cannot be a thing. So who is this death personified? That they are, from whom this the Sunita came.
So death refers to destruction. So as far as I can think on this, it must have to be the destructive energy is our Rudra. And as you know of Rudra from the third canto, is not something auspicious. Rudra means who makes others cry. So from that point of view, so this death personified could be one of the followers or a further expansion of Rudra. Because for the Lord, for the sake of destruction, he expands, Sankarshan expands himself as Lord Shiva. In that way. And as it is said in the case of Kashyapa Muni and Diti, when they united in the evening hours during the transition period, so she begot Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh. Why? Because that was a time when Lord Shiva goes around with his Bhuta Preta. So he's not going around spreading auspiciousness. Lord Shiva, we know the one side of his is a great Vaishnava. The other side of his is his existence here in this creation is to cause destruction. He is that destructive energy of the Lord. Similarly, the death could be one of the expansions of it, which has not been specified, but I hope you're understanding why death personified is considered irreligious. Okay? You're muted, mother.
Prabhuji, does death personified, is the same Pap Purush that is talked of in Ekadashi, that it enters the grains?
I don't know whether that. This is something I'll have to look into the commentary if something has been specified about this. But I can just say that from the point of view of Rudra being an expansion of the Lord for the sake of destruction. So all destruction happens under that. So in that only somebody as a death personified would be there, which is coming into a adharmic tradition. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Varun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question was related to the truthfulness we spoke about. When you mentioned that we have to be aware of our weaknesses, strengths, everything, introspect about it. So can we say that truthfulness is also entails actions, not only just introspect and okay, I know, okay, this is my weakness.
Well, bro, your sound quality somehow is not good. I'm really not able to capture fully. The quality of sound can be improved. So, anyone can understand?
Sharpness is not there.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is it audible now?
Now I can hear. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, my question was about the truthfulness you spoke about, and identifying our strengths, weaknesses, and like that. So, can we say that it also entails working on those things, actions, not just being satisfied in, okay, I know about it, and I just sitting there. I mean, sometimes because we tends to be lazy about these things, and then we actually don't do anything about it. And so we can say, like we say that bhakti is all action. So can we say the same thing about the truthfulness also, that we have to work on every aspect of our spiritual life, and to be true to ourselves, like that?
So yeah, I missed the first part of it. So bhakti is all about action. So we have to work on ourselves. So being truthful means what? What was that?
So I'm just trying to relate the truthfulness to this thing, because just identifying our weakness is not enough. We have to work on it, and that requires us to be more enthusiastic, to shun away our laziness
Okay,
and things
okay,
like that,
okay.
right? So,
Yeah. So at least the first part of it is to know oneself. So that's being truthful. This is something which I speak a lot in our MBA courses that we do. I speak about this thing, NIC. Maybe why don't everyone does this exercise? Because sometimes we think that we don't need that, but it's good for us. Please write down three things: N, I, and C. I call it as a Nick formula. So we have some time now. Let's see if we can do that. I'm not going to ask you to say out loudly, just for you to see how much you're aware of your self-awareness. N refers to needs. What are my needs? I refers to interests. What are my interests? And C refers to concerns. What concerns me? This is the first barometer or test for self-awareness. How much I have learned or to know myself, or how much I am still living a borrowed life. Borrowed life means, I remember college, we chose the engineering branch because somebody else chose it. I chose engineering because I saw somebody choose it. Civil and Bhakti life, we are doing something because somebody is doing it. So you kind of live a borrowed life. So why don't you just think about what are my needs, interests, concerns? And the only question that I have to ask is, did you find it easy or did you find it difficult for yourself? If you felt it was difficult for you to answer, we need to work on our self-awareness. And if you felt it was easy, I know very much what are my needs and concerns. So you are learning to know yourself. So do that. In the meantime, I'll take other questions here. One Pro will come back to it when this exercise is done. Yes, Saurabh's iPhone. Saurabh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Done a problem, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Saurabh Krishna Prabhu. Yes, go ahead.
Prabhu, I was wondering, I just want, I need a clarification basically because I'm not very clear about it. I would like to quote this question in this way because, Prabhu, I heard from you that many a times, many a times, the answer lies between truth and it lies between false. It may not be white, it not be black, it may be gray when we are sometimes answering. Now, Prabhuji, many a times when we talk about being truthful, how can we justify such a statement? Because this lies, we might lie for someone's good and we not stand with the truthful decision or truthfulness of our own. I'm sorry if I'm quoting it correctly.
All right.
But I hope you understood.
Yeah. So first of all, Saurabh Krishna, what we're talking about, the aspect of truth or truthfulness today is being truthful to oneself. As I said, the same words will have different levels of meaning in different contexts. So in the context of today, Prathu Maharaj expressing himself that I don't deserve it because I have not manifested. In that context, I said being truthful means knowing oneself. Prathu Maharaj knew very well that I'm not having these qualities, and so he said that. So that was the context of it, being truthful. Now, when you're talking about this particular statement, it's not about white, it's not about black. So this is in context of transcendental morality. When Krishna asked Yudhishthira Maharaj, declare Ashwatthama have died. So what was Yudhishthira Maharaj supposed to do? He was supposed to follow what Krishna have said. Was it correct? Not correct. Was it even a question to ask, correct or incorrect? Was not even a question to ask. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, attached to the idea of morality, he asked, is Ashwatthama dead? And then he was told, no, Ashwatthama is not dead. And what did Yudhishthira say? Well, I can't speak a lie. So in that context, the point comes, for the higher cause, speaking a lie is not a lie. In that context, at this point of transcendental morality comes into picture. And then when Krishna saw he's not doing it, according to Mahabharata version, he said, Bhima, go and kill the elephant, which is Ashwatthama. After killing the elephant, go and come to Yudhishthira and say, Ashwatthama, Hati, mara gaya. Like that, he was tricked into it. So here, this whole question of being truthful or not, being lying to ourselves, if in case something has been asked us to do, as I said, at times we may not understand through our logic and rationality what I'm doing. But if in case in a trusted relationship where we know this is a trusted relationship which we have seen it for years together, and I have been asked to do something, maybe at that point of time I'm not understanding it, and I've been asked to say it. Let's say this Sara Krishna Prabhu is asked to call up his owner, staying in rent, and is asked to call up his owner and tell him that the market rates of the rental property in Sangria have crashed. So now rent is no more 25,000, it's 15,000. Now you may not agree with that immediately because that's a lie. But it's just because Sara Krishna Prabhu is asked to speak to his owner like that, because owner has another property in Sangria. And we need that property maybe for temple or maybe for somebody who a temple authorities or somebody leader has said is in a financial need. Is going to help them get stabilized, and maybe afterwards we'll settle it out. So then what is truthful, what is being not? Sara Krishna may feel, this is not fitting into my moral standards. So this is how your context of question comes into picture. So we may not understand it, maybe just do it. What is the big harm in that? Particularly if you're following the person who we have trust, faith, that whatever he does is not meant for causing harm to anyone. It is only meant for being good to all. Somebody may understand this point of time, somebody may not understand. Like in case of Krishna and Yudhishthira.
Thank you, Guruji. So, in crux, we can say that the transcendental morality will veto all our and the truthfulness vow if someone has taken.
Yeah, and that transcendental instruction come from transcendental person to be called as transcendental morality. Okay?
Makes sense, brother. Thank you.
Not from any one of us. Like that. Okay, so I guess we have taken all the questions. It's good to end early also. I have to also go for program. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Thank you all for joining in.